Just want to do a quick walk around of my 77 Alfa Spider. She's definitely a driver condition car. The paint looks good, but it's certainly a fairly old paint job. So it has some chips and nicks in it, like on the door jamb there. And down the whole jamb itself has some chips and nicks, but not too bad. Obviously the buzzer works. And the interior looks pretty good. The back window is cracked on the convertible top, so the entire top will need to be replaced. The canvas is completely faded, almost white. I'm sure there's a photo of it in the auction. All four new Pirelli CN36 tires all around, ordered from the UK. Those are wonderful tires for this car. And the back end looks pretty good. Stinger exhaust from Centerline. Single straight pipe back there. Everything looks good up here. Like I said, just a great driving car. Certainly could use a repaint if somebody wanted to, but it's in the condition it is. It's how I enjoy being able to use it. Not have to worry about it getting scratched or dings. There we go. And for the front suspension, new Brembo discs, rebuilt the calipers with new seals and cylinder rings. I'm not sure what they'd be called, but anyway, so they're working great. This is pulled off and cleaned. Everything's fine. New pads, new brake lines in the front. Replaced the camber or top of the suspension arms with an adjustable arm here, so you can adjust the camber here. New Koni Classics, all new steering ends everywhere. New bushings everywhere in here on the caster arm as well. New sway bar bushings, sway bar removed and painted. Everything's been painted. New lower control arm bushings. Everything was replaced on the entire suspension as far as bushings are concerned, and conical bushing put in this one instead of the regular one. And what else we have in here? I think that's it for the fronts. Oh, and new drain lines as well for the cowl drainage. And see the speedometer cable sticking out, that's new as well, but brake lines obviously flushed and everything new in there with new fluids. Brakes work fantastically. All right, so for work that's been done on the rear suspension, the only part I did not do here is the main wheel bearings on both sides was done by a shop. Aside from that, the new limbing straps, new bump stop rubbers, new Koni Classic shocks, and new springs with all new bushings obviously. Removed the trailing arms on both sides and put in heavy duty bushings, and you can see in here the new exhaust as well. The exhaust is new from the end of the exhaust manifolds to the tip. And I reviewed the discs are fine, the calipers are fine here. There's plenty of brake pad left. And inside here, it would be the anti-sway bar bushings were replaced. Also, the spacers on the T-bar were replaced with poly, and the cone bushings on the differential. While I had it apart, everything got painted as well. sway bars and things like that. Parking brake all works fine. And not much else on this rear. I think that would do it for here. Talk about a few things done on the driver's side of the engine bay while I've owned it. Added the high and low relays for the headlights when I redid the headlights. New clutch fluid, new brake fluid, new vacuum lines everywhere, all of them, all new coolant lines. These are for the heater that run around to the head over here, or the intake manifold. Remove the valve cover a number of times, and it's got a new gasket on it, and removed, there were plastic clips here for the emissions hot air that went over to the intake. Got rid of that and put in new, replaced the holes with rivets and sealed it from the inside so it doesn't leak. New plugs, new wires, new cap and seal, new radiator cap, pulled the radiator, flushed it out, pressure tested it, everything's good, and reinstalled it with new coolant, of course. Alternator removed and I put in new brushes, cleaned it up, everything's good on that. There's an oil pressure sender under here that controls the light on the dash. Replace that as well while the exhaust is out. These are early to mid 70s European spec 2-piece headers from Alfa that I replaced to try to get the car back to more European specifications than the US specifications it came with from California. And a new ground wire in there, which you can see attached to a new mount, engine mounts here on both sides. Those are new as well. And pulled the horns and cleaned those up so they work fine. And that's about it on this side. So on the passenger side of the engine, let's go through this. I got a new coil, obviously new high tension leads, spark plug wires, new distributor, pointless electronic distributor down here from RML, and it's great. Set it and forget, it's done. It just needs oil. I put oil in it once a year. New coolant sender, temperature sender, all new air lines for the speaker system. Obviously, I mentioned the new coolant lines everywhere, which is here and here, and a new fuel filter, which is in here. I just removed it, cleaned everything up, checked all the connections. This is a fuel pressure light, which is new as well, sender. Of course, the biggie is the speaker pump here, which was rebuilt, removed, and I took it out and sent it over to Ingram Enterprises, who rebuilds these speaker pumps. And actually, this is not the same one that was in the car. I got a HP version, high pressure version. So it was a little more expensive, but I made it so I could upgrade the cans to Euro cans if I wanted to, which I never did. And so that's fully rebuilt. It's good to go. It's only got a few hundred miles on it. A new thermo actuator, thermostatic TA, from them as well. They also rebuilt all 4 of the injectors while they had them. I sent those in as well, so Ingram rebuilt those. Over here is a new air oil separator, a kit that's sold by a guy on the Alfa BB. Really nice kit, brass kit, that you assemble yourself, and it works fantastic, and it even has a clean out on the top, unlike the original one, so you can remove it and clean it out if it gets filled with gunk, which is nice. And it works great, breathes perfectly. What else in here? All new fuel lines. Every flexible line in the car that's had fuel in it was replaced. Every coolant line in the car was replaced as well. Under here, I removed the starter and cleaned it up to make sure everything was operating correctly, which it was. And the cold start solenoid was connected incorrectly, so I corrected that and then rewired a lot of new wiring and stuff while that was out. There's a fuel pressure sender under there as well. It's kind of hard to see it, but it's above the starter, and I replaced that while the starter was out, so it's got a new one of those. And that might be it for this side. The coil and everything. Yep. I think we're okay on this one. Yep.